Philip, good to see you. Thanks for making a bit of time to come and have a chat. Appreciate that. So I wanted to start by picking up something that we talked about a few weeks back, which was how your business is able to provide real-time feedback to people for the work that you do. So, I mean, that seems to me to be a really cool feature. Tell me about why that's important in the context of your business.
Yeah, so we saw that we could train salespeople over and over again in the different spin selling, medic selling, like all of these different strategies people use. But took a few months, we trained them, and then it was back to zero again. And we need to train them again and again and again. And that endless loop was not helping us at all. So we thought about how would it be to actually have the coach with you on the calls? Would that even be possible? How could we do it? And then we realized data is gold. And we had like 10 years of data from coaching calls, from sales calls, from our pre-sale team, so normal phone calls as well, which we could actually use to make something good out of. So we tried instead of, and that's also something we realized that we think that salespeople, like, yeah, the good salespeople are good at talking, but it's the other way around. The great salespeople are actually good at listening.
Yeah.
And that's what we realized here. And once we incorporated all the data that we had into this spin selling method, normally we first we started without any AI. It was just like automation, like if this happens, and just to see if it could work. And it did. And we started getting great feedback from people who were going off scripts. They were going off the method that they were using. They were forgetting important things. And then we had our psychotherapist, Louise, who is working for one of our other companies involved in this because we wanted the emotional states as well to see how we could pick up things that a seller would miss. So it could be like hesitation, like irritation, and the salesperson just kept on talking, and
Yeah. Yeah.
the prospect just shown, nah, I don't want to do this, but they completely missed it. So the intention is not like to get you everything you need, is to make you better at what you do. And that's where we started, and now we have developed it actually, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And let me ask you about that. So when you say you get good feedback, is that what you mean by improve? Or is there, if you like, robust evidence that people perform better in terms of achieving more sales? I mean, is it
Yeah.
simply that people like it and give you good feedback, or is it that it actually improves their performance as salespeople?
It's actually improving. So we had 22 people out now for a pilot, and they have increased it with 12% for the first company and all 25% on the second
Wow.
company,
Wow.
which is kind of good. And they've just used it for 6 weeks now, something around that. And we had a few bugs in the beginning, so maybe
Yeah.
4 weeks is better to say. And that's a good improvement.
Yeah. And let me ask you about this thing about people sort of reverting to type. You know, they come on the training course, they learn a few things and then they revert to type. I mean, I know that's the case with most
Yeah,
workplace learning, actually,
yeah.
that it doesn't actually change a lot of behavior. I mean, what's your take on how you address that issue? How do you, if you like, embed the skill so that it stays there in the longer term? What's your sort of thoughts on that? I know it's early days, but what's your
No,
thought?
no, but so I agree 100%. It's mostly like that. And we address it so in the conscious ending and conscious sales, you can actually train without a real prospect first. You learn the systems, you learn the scripts, you learn everything you need to know about the company. And once you go into a real call, you upload the data from your company, the product you're selling, so it knows everything about you. And are you a beginner, advanced, wherever you are? Then you go into the call. And what we found out really early was that people were forgetting how they should use. We take spin selling, that's the most common one. So
Yeah.
that's the reference. People were forgetting their place, how to look back. They were forgetting, they go back and forth between things and jumping up and down. And didn't really listen to the customers. So it took
Yeah.
1.5 weeks for them to forget their training when we shut the AI or the conscious sales off, which was kind of interesting. But now it's not like it says what you should say. It's more about it's coaching you and reminding you on things you're missing.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me ask you, where are you going with this? I mean, presumably, I mean, there's an interesting debate around sales, whether AI will actually do the sales
Yeah.
or whether AI is a great way, and I think it is a great way of training salespeople. I mean, where are you going with this? How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, so I think the great salespeople of the world will always have a place, the real
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
But for the middle ones and the bottom ones, there won't be a place. The AI will take over there and take their jobs, for sure.
And why would
Um,
let me sorry, let me just
yeah,
interrupt there. Why would
yeah.
there always be a place for the really good ones? I mean, just say why you think that's the case.
Also because of the human connection and what it feels to connect with another person. And also now I'm just speaking for myself privately, what I think and how I would interact with someone. Uh, And I don't know where AI will be in 3 or 5 years. It could be amazing and it could be indistinguishable from a normal human
Yeah.
being. And that's hard to say. But where AI is today, at least, the best salespeople will always outperform an AI.
Yeah. Oh, you think they'll outperform?
What was that?
Okay. You think they'll outperform? That's interesting.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and in what way do you think they'll outperform? I know this is a little bit of guesswork, but
No,
in
no,
what
but
way?
it's of course. So we had a sales team here in Sweden, which is one of the best in Scandinavia or even Europe or even the world, really. And a lot of them is actually old actors or have gone through acting classes and
Right.
things like that. And they are so good at going in and feeling where you are, Paul, for example, and feeling your situation with all the information and can really relate and connect and get the emotional side that I think AI is lacking today.
Yeah. And just let me ask you about, you mentioned the emotional side. I mean,
Yeah,
just explain how you think that works, because again, I hear a lot of people talk about, the importance of kind of emotional connection in sales.
yeah.
I'm never quite sure whether they all mean the same thing. I mean, what do you mean by that?
So for us, it's like picking up things. So for me, as if I work as a normal
Mm.
salespeople, that's just to be able to get into the other person's side and see how they would feel in a certain situation. So I go in and I listen to what you're saying. For example, if you have troubles with something, your age, your work, your occupation,
Mm.
and I try to envision that as an actor would do with the script in hand going into a movie. Okay, Paul is this. How would he feel in this situation? How would he feel with the different pains and things like that? And then I go into the call and like really present something and try to connect.
Yeah, and because AI struggles to do that because it doesn't
Yeah,
understand human emotions, does it? Not in
exactly.
the way that we do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a very
Exactly.
interesting point, because what you're basically saying is that the thing that will give humans the competitive edge is that ability to understand other people emotionally. That's what you're saying. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also think like so taste would be something that would be the next step because everyone can just generate everything with AI now, but what actually would be good and great is still for the humans to decide, right?
Yeah. 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 So yeah, I agree with you about that. Yeah, it's a very interesting area that. And let me ask you, how did you kind of get onto this track? I mean, how did you get onto this journey? I mean, I totally understand why
Yeah.
using AI in the context of sales is really
Yeah.
important because it offers
Yeah.
lots of opportunities. But how did you get onto this journey?
It was when we were training pre-sale team and we were training, I had maybe 200, 250 salespeople I trained through the years. And I don't know how it is in the rest of the world, but in Sweden, it's people are joining and then they find something better and leaving, and we train them and they're leaving. And yeah, that's a lot of turnovers in the niche. And the really good ones get offers from everywhere. So
Yeah.
it's hard to keep them down. And that's where it started because I wanted something to train them and not my time all the time. But we tried. We got like 3 weeks in and we trained them, and some got good, some didn't. And then they just left, and we were just standing there with nothing. And we realized we needed something better. And we checked around, and there was a lot of things like Gong and all of those companies that are great, but they like coach you after the call. So you
Yeah.
get a great transcript. This is what you did. Great, Paul. Think about this for next time. But I wanted to coach in the call. And that was nothing like that. So that's where we started.
Yeah. And that's actually quite a difficult challenge. Just talk us through how that works. Because when you say coach in the call, you kind
Yeah.
of imagine the call stopping and then somebody giving you some
Yeah.
feedback and then you
Yeah.
starting again. Of course,
Yeah.
real sales doesn't really work that way, does it? So
No.
to tell us about how the mechanics of that work in practice, because
Yeah.
it's quite an interesting feature,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So let's say you go in and you set up the call config, which would be your company name and company products, your experience, and then you choose your level, beginner, intermediate, pro, expert, like that. Upload what you're selling. Call config is done. You put it on the screen, and then you go. So in the call, you will start talking, and we have a normal conversation, go through discovery maybe. Then it will start prompting you. And depending on your level, if it's a beginner or expert, you will get an expert will just get small cues like words or symbols, and they will understand
Right.
what that means. So
Wow.
they don't need to read anything. They can just, oh, okay. And the beginners would have small text that plops out like this. And so they can just, okay, this is what I need to say. So they can actually just read through the whole script if they want to.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And that's really helpful. That would be my
Yeah.
opinion. That is really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something about the. I mean, to come back to your journey to this point,
Yeah.
what would you say, or rather, how does your kind of background and your identity, perhaps as a Swedish person or whatever,
Yeah.
how does your background and identity, or how has your background and identity shaped the way you've built the company? Would you say?
Yeah. So basically 23 years in sales in different professions. I worked as a personal trainer. I worked in stores, in gas stations, in every part of it, from physical sales to digital sales. I worked in sales so many times and so long. So I basically sold everything. And I was good at it and I liked it. And I liked talking to people and try to get them what they need so their life could be better. And that has been my journey with all of this. So been in sales for 23 years now.
And is there anything about being Swedish?
Yeah.
well, what I'm wondering is, in what way is a Swedish sales business different to a British sales business? And now that there may not be an answer to that, but I'm just curious.
There is for sure. And we see it when we try to sell to Americans as well. There's a whole
Right.
different sales process. In Sweden, we are really careful. So if you are too aggressive or too pushy or
Yeah.
like going on really hard and people just hang up or just say no. And so we are a lot different in compared to UK. UK, you can be a bit more aggressive. You can even take the credit card over the phone and things like that still, which would not exist here in Sweden. Yeah, so we are a bit more careful here in Sweden,
And
I
where
would
does
say.
that, I mean, that sounds to me that it's about the culture of the country rather than
Yeah.
anything. I mean, where does that come from? I mean, why would Swedish people be a bit more careful than Brits, for example, or Americans? I mean, why would that be
Yeah.
the case? Because it's an
Also,
interesting issue, that.
yeah, but Swedish, also, have you been to Sweden?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You have, yeah. But you know that we are pretty cold and usually don't talk to strangers at all. And like, even if we would like something that you offer us on the street, I would just say no, just of the sheer awkwardness of talking to a stranger. And that's how Swedish people are mostly. So you need to meet them like five, six times before you get like, okay, now he's warming up. Now I can talk to you like a
Right.
normal person. So we see that when we go into different sales funnels, the Swedish needs a lot more touch points and a lot more trust
Okay.
to open up and actually get
And
us to
you think
talking.
it's the reticence of Swedish people that's interesting. That
Yeah.
why would you say Swedish people are more reticent? I mean,
Yeah. So it's hard to say. So I thought at once when we compare to Italy, Spain, and those places that they are that better weather, so they can be out more and like
okay,
socializing. But you in England have even worse weather than we have, so it can't be that either.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I have to say the weather's not great here at the moment, so you might be
No,
right
here.
about the worst
Yeah,
weather bit. It's certainly
yeah,
more changeable here, but you never know
yeah,
if the forecast's going to come true or not.
yeah.
So, yeah, yeah, okay. And let me to come back to the company. What would you
Mm,
say you're building towards? I mean, it's a great proposition, this idea of
yeah,
providing real-time feedback to salespeople and helping really embed those skills.
yeah,
Because you're right. I mean, there's no point wasting money teaching people things if they then forget it. I mean, that just
yeah.
really doesn't help. And it doesn't help them. It doesn't help the company. So I love the concept of being able to embed it and really help people move forward. What are you? I mean, where are you? What are you trying to? What are you building towards?
So this might seem kind of like a big dream or a big goal, but we're actually going for the emotional layer of AI with this first product and the second and the third. So the conscious engine will be the brain, and then conscious sale is the first thing out, first tentacle out, basically. So the conscious brain as a conscious engine is supposed to be filled with all of this data from different emotional companies like HR, psychology, sales, feed it with all of that data so that then can serve as a underlying layer for AI. So it can get better at actually feeling and putting themselves in the situation, for example.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that sounds really interesting. I don't think that's easy to do, though, is it? I mean, how
No,
will you, I mean, how will
no.
you do that? That's, I mean, it sounds like quite an ambitious goal there. How do you think you're going to be able to do that?
Yeah, we're not there yet. So that's the goal from the beginning. And also, we have a great team. We have knowledge from psychology and psychiatrics and a lot of experience there. We have two of the best, I shouldn't say scientists, but AI developers in-house, which is great. They're also in the south of Sweden, in Lund. And we have a great marketing team that is really supporting this. So the team is, also, I believe really hard in the team. I think we can do it. Small team, but really, really good.
Yeah, yeah. And so, how would you? Where would you see the business being? Let's say in 5 years' time. I mean, do you have a sense of what the big milestones are going to be?
Yeah, so first will be conscious sale that we get that going and integrated. So either you can integrate it in like Zoom or Teams, all of those places, and we have that going. Then next will be conscious HR, conscious psychology will be the third one.
Right.
And then we need maybe 2, 3 years of data in the brain, and then we can then start building out for the conscious layer of everything.
Yeah. Well, that is an amazing. I mean, if you achieve that, you'll be doing pretty well. I have to.
Yeah,
It's very
I
impressive.
hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Let me talk about let's move to talk about the kind of the way you're going to deliver us. So let me ask you something that interests me. I mean, I love working with entrepreneurs.
yeah,
Um, One of the things that interests me about entrepreneurs is they tend to mix with other entrepreneurs. I mean, not exclusively, but often that's where the people that the entrepreneurs tend to gather together. To what extent would you say your ability to build the business is contingent on your network? I mean, there's that thing about, you surround yourself with good people, which
yeah,
always has always struck me as common sense
yeah,
or good sense.
yeah.
Do you agree with that? I mean, is that how, I mean, how have you leveraged your network to build the business?
Yeah, so I would say that's, to be really honest, that's one of my biggest weaknesses, that I'm not great at networking, and
Oh,
I don't
right.
really
Okay.
like the cold calls and the chit chats and all of that. So networking is really not my thing. Entrepreneurs, I don't really have surrounding me.
And does that have an
But
impact? I mean, does not being
yeah,
part of those networks, does that have I mean, what kind of impact? Negative impact? I mean, what were your thoughts?
what do you mean? Sorry.
Does not having a big network of entrepreneur sort of contacts, does that impact on you negatively?
I don't know, but it would be great to have other people in similar situations that you can talk to and take advice from. Yes, and I definitely exploring different networks to join.
Yeah.
And I tried a few networks, but it's like, I don't know if you heard the expression fika in Sweden. So it's basically cake and coffee and just chit chat and no point at
Okay.
all of being there. So That has been my experience so far. But I would say that I'm surrounded with a lot of entrepreneurs, and that has helped me a lot. So people
Right.
in the company is actually building a lot of things by themselves and being an entrepreneurs, and that has inspired me and helped me along the way.
Yeah, no, I can see why that would be, and of course that's really important to building the business, isn't it?
Yeah,
That kind of entrepreneurial mindset within the business helps
yeah,
you move it forward faster, doesn't it? Which
yeah,
that seems to be
yeah,
a really powerful thing.
yeah.
Let me ask you about being the CEO. I mean, how do you feel about being the CEO? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? I mean, it's a bit of a roller coaster, as my
Yeah, it is.
experience.
It is. Yeah. Um, Yeah, so two things. So I have a great staff and I have a great team, but and they handle the normal problems that comes up. But it's like a I don't know what the English word is, but it's like a cone reversed going down. And in the bottom is like the worst of the worst problems where there's two ways to go and both of them is like really bad and I need to choose. So those are the problems I need to deal with, which is kind of hard.
Yeah,
And I would say like a lot of times it's like 80% I feel like a failure, basically.
yeah,
And 15% is like treading water, just going nowhere. 4% is like this is over, now we can just shut it everything down. And like 1% is like winning. And that's a great feeling. But that's usually how I feel about. Uh, but I can't find anything else in life that is so developing as being a CEO and an entrepreneur.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's a tough gig, but it's very rewarding, isn't it? And
it's
those little,
very
although
rewarding.
the successes might be 1%, I mean,
Yeah,
they have a big impact, don't they? I mean, I love it when I win a
yeah,
contract, or I mean,
yeah,
those things are really important. And would you say that that's the? I mean, what? Well, let me ask you the question: what is it that motivates you to put up with all the the 99% of stuff that's not
yeah,
much fun? I mean, what is
yeah.
it that motivates you to put up with it?
Also, it's so rewarding. I can't say it so much else. It's
Right.
so rewarding going to work every day and building something that is your own things, that is helping the world in a better way and explore and innovate. It's such a great mix of the
Yeah.
best things in life, I think.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
interesting you say that because most people think entrepreneurs are all obsessed with money, but actually
yeah,
the truth is it's not really about the money. I mean, the money's
no,
nice, but it's not really
no.
about the money, is it?
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you about the journey. I mean, have you had any? I mean, you've talked about a lot of the negative stuff, but have
No.
you had any real surprises when you thought, "Oh, I didn't think it would turn out like that," or "Didn't think that would happen"? I mean, have you had any big surprises along the way?
Yeah, so iteration is something that I learned along the way. So in my head, it was supposed to go like this. But when we got there, it was like, okay, no, this isn't working. But because we were there, we were able to pivot there. And that's something that took a while to learn. So I couldn't see the whole road ahead, but I
Yeah.
could just see like in the fog, my headlights, that's it. And when I got to the next space, I could see the next space, but I needed to go there first. And
Yeah.
that's hard because you're trying to plan everything, you're trying to see the road, and you want to get motivated and think, okay, now I can see the whole road. This is the way I'm gonna go. This is gonna be success. But it doesn't really work like that. They usually don't turn out as you think, and you need to turn around and think of something else and iterate and take short turnarounds. And yeah, so that's some of the biggest things I learned. That's
Yeah.
just take one step, go to the next place and the next step.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always amazed at people that have got these really big, long roadmaps that stretch out for 5 years ahead of them, and
Yeah,
I'm never sure those things actually work
no,
because
no,
you change plans so often, don't you? Because
yeah,
you're always learning.
yeah,
The downside to that is that means there's a lot of uncertainty. You
yeah,
might get from A to B, but you don't know how you're going to get from B to C.
exactly.
That and so, what's your take on dealing with that level of uncertainty? I mean, people always say, uncertainty is bad for business. What you're saying is it's part of business. I mean, how do you deal with
Yeah,
that? And how do you help your team to deal with that? Because it's tough on them as well.
yeah. No, but also we have a pretty close team, so they follow me pretty well, and I try to always be motivational and try to stay ahead and positive about things. But to me, we learned pretty early that As a trust to us is faith in action, actually. So if the
Okay.
team believes in what we're actually doing, then they should have trust in that this is working out. So trust to us is actually faith in action.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you say faith in action, just tell me what you mean by that, because that's a very interesting point,
Hmm.
and nobody's ever said that to me before. So just what do you mean by that?
So if you have faith that this is going to work out as we want to, then you need to trust the process. You need to
Okay.
trust that even if it looks bad right now, we have faith that this is going to work out.
Yeah. And is it faith in that taking action will get you there, or is it
Yeah.
faith that it will just be all right? Or is it that the faith comes from if you follow the actions, if you keep working away, that will move you to where nearer to your goal. I mean,
So both actually, both. So we need to have both. We need to keep working and we need to keep the faith along the way as well, even if it's dark sometimes. We need to keep the faith that pushes us to keep going.
yeah, yeah, that's a very interesting point. That,
Mm.
and let me ask you, to what extent do you think luck has enabled you to build your business successfully? I mean, would you say there's been a lot of luck involved?
Mm. So I would say both yes and no, because we started our journey getting everything really fast. We got into business, we got great success pretty early. We got a lot of money in the bank really early, but we didn't know anything about business. So we spent crazy amount of money on nothing. We
Yeah,
hired like it was just two people in the company, and we thought we needed a CEO for some reason. We didn't need salespeople or marketing, we needed a CEO. And mistakes like that cost us like, oh. And when you're new, you're reaching out to people to build websites and all of those things. And if you don't know what you're doing, they just take all of your money, basically.
yeah,
So a lot of those things happen in the beginning. So there was luck that we got us motivated because we thought it was so easy and get success fast. And yes, I don't know. It's not really me to believe in luck, actually. I think we make our own luck. And if you just keep working, it will solve itself.
yeah. I mean, it kind of comes back to the point you were making a second ago about this idea of faith in action. I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't expressed it that way, but I think you've made a really good point. I mean, I don't believe in luck either. I mean, luck is by its nature is something you can't control. But
No.
what you can control is what you do. So it always
Yeah.
strikes me that doing things and working towards your goal will inevitably move you forward other
Yeah.
than faster than people that just sit there. So
Yeah.
it's something about what you were saying earlier on. I think is really significant. You mentioned making mistakes. I mean,
Yes.
tell us about the biggest mistake that you've made, and what did you learn from it?
Oh, yeah. So just blinding trusting people was one of the
Okay.
mistakes that I thought that people, yeah, like normal people, just normal. But we have people like stealing from us, robbing us from things, and lying to us about how they were working and they didn't work at all. And we paid them like 7,000 pounds a month, and they were just doing nothing. And we believed in people, like blindly in the beginning, that they were doing their job, but instead they were just stealing from us. They were taking our stuff and starting their own business in the same things. And yeah, that's and another thing is like people, when you get money, it changes how people treat you around you, and it's
Yeah.
not always positive because all of a sudden you should pay for everything. All the meals that you're out with everyone, you should always pay for it because you have money. And things like that was like we should have handled that better, and we
Yeah.
shouldn't be as if yeah. So there was a lot of mistakes in the beginning, and hiring process is also it's so hard. It's like herding cats sometimes when you have hiring, and it's crazy hard.
Yeah. Yeah. To come back to the point about people defrauding you or people
Yeah,
ripping you off, I mean,
yeah,
how do you handle that now? I mean, as you were speaking, it brought to mind a famous phrase from one of our prime ministers, Margaret Thatcher. I don't
yeah,
know if you've heard of her or not, but she said her thing was trust but verify. I mean, that's what she was like with the Russians over the
yeah,
nuclear stuff. Trust but, and it's always stuck in my mind that, I mean, what's your take on having, you've been defrauded, people have taken from you. I mean, how
yeah.
do you handle that now?
Yeah, so now we have much more safety in the company. We have a safety person. We have all NDA signs. We have lawyers for the contracts and access, like so we can everything see when if you go into a file, we can see that you go into that file, and
Okay.
so a lot more security has gone in. Before we were just like, hey, here's all the password. You can just go in and take what you want, basically. And now we have everything password. We have lawyers. We have all the documents signed. So yeah, a lot more security now.
Yeah. And how do staff respond to that? I mean, has there been a change within the business? I mean, is it that you just feel safer now, or has it changed the culture in terms of working practices and so on? I mean, how do your people feel about that?
So for them, it's like the ones who have been with me for a long time, they have seen the persons that have come in and taken stuff, so they have understood the process needs to be something else. And the new persons, people coming in, it seems like they're used to it from other companies as well. That's pretty standard to just all
Yeah,
of this security that you have. Um, and that was one of our biggest lessons that we trusted people and we shouldn't.
yeah.
Cost
And of
us a
course, you've
lot.
got, I mean, given what you do, you've got a lot of intellectual property to protect, haven't you?
We have,
Yeah. So
yeah,
there needs
we
to be
have,
robust methods for doing that.
yeah.
And have you had to make any really tough decisions along the way? Things that you think, oh, I really don't want to do that, but I've got to. I mean, have you made any really tough? Are there any tough decisions that sort of sit in your memory that you know?
Yeah, yeah. So there is when we are a good team, a great team, you get friends with people, and that has been a mistake sometimes. And pretty recently, I had to let go of a friend, because he couldn't pull his weight in the company. He's in a high demand position. There's a lot of requirements on him, but he couldn't pull through and he couldn't deliver. And it's so hard to let go of someone like you really like and hang out with and have been friends with for several years. And that's such a hard process
Yeah,
because you feel like you're losing a family member because all of a sudden you're not going to see them every day anymore.
yeah,
And that's always such a hard decision.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's got to be made, isn't it? Because there's no, you can't really carry. That's the thing about small businesses or relatively small businesses. You
Yeah.
can't really. There's no slack to carry people.
No.
You
No.
know. Um,
Exactly.
so it makes the job even tougher, I think. Let me
Yeah.
switch to the positive. I mean, what is
Yeah.
it that you really enjoy about no, let me. What is it? Would you say that has made your business successful? Because I mean, you've got more than one business, actually, haven't you? I mean,
Yeah.
what is it that? What are the things that have made it successful?
Great people. Again, on the other side, great people coming in with full passion, full and entrepreneurship, like
Yeah,
building it out like crazy, and wanting to help people evolve and develop. And that's the core team is something truly unique. There's a lot of days which we had yesterday, for example, with the whole team together on the paintball court. It was just like bliss. It's such a great feeling. The whole team is coming together and just everyone's smiling, laughing, and know that we are a great team together and we can achieve great things. That's
yeah,
also one of the best things about having a company when you get that feeling of
yeah,
connection and team spirit.
yeah. And how have you? I mean, I'm always interested in the way that leaders achieve that because it's very easy to say we've got a great team, we've got great
Yeah,
culture. How did you? I mean, because you started with nothing. How did you
yeah,
get to where you are? I mean, what is it that you did that created that kind of culture and that sense of, if you like, family or sense
yeah,
of kind of camaraderie? I mean, what is it that you
yeah.
did to achieve that?
So try to build a culture from me at the top as a start. So I realized if I came in at 11, everyone else thought it was okay to come in at 11 as well. So everything I did reflected out as the culture.
Yeah,
And I realized that pretty early that hey, I need to be the figure and culture and build it around that. So we train together, we play sports together, we eat together, and we have the same kind of routines, so they know what I'm about, and that's what we build a culture around. And I try to just take in people that are on that level. So it's not just
yeah,
about the work. They need to love themselves and take care of themselves and train and like be in good shape and things like that as well. It's also really important.
yeah. Yeah. So it's about fit, really, isn't it? It's about setting an example and making sure you get people that are going to fit with that kind of world, I guess is what
Yeah,
you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, also,
Yeah.
yeah, disciplined people who can also, if you can't take care of yourself, then how could you take care of someone else's business?
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. It's a very good point, that actually.
Mm.
And let me ask you about looking backwards. I mean,
Yeah,
when you look back on the journey that you've been on, I mean, if you were starting again, knowing what you know now, is there anything
yeah.
you do differently, perhaps?
Oh, yeah. So many things differently. Um, but when we started, we were just like, yeah, let's do this. And we didn't have a map at all and a vision for what we were supposed to do. We just, yeah, let's create a company and see how it goes. We didn't plan anything. And for me, I have never been a person like do a budget here and financials here and taxes here. We didn't know anything about that. We just, yeah, yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
And I always been a person like that. Hey, let's sign up for a £50,000 a year office where we have no sales, but we sign up for the office for 3 years. That is me, and there's a lot of things that what I should have done differently. I wanted to build like really fast, so I just took in people and all over the place, and nothing was what it should be, and everything was just a mess. So yeah, I would plan better and learn how financial models work and how you actually do a budget and how you calculate salaries. Also, and the whole budget thing and the economy, especially in the beginning,
yeah,
and reach out to someone who has done it before
yeah,
and just do that and try to get a mentor somehow to walk you through all the mistakes.
yeah. I mean, I think your point about knowing the numbers is actually
So
really
important.
important. I mean, it's
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
It's a
So
bit
boring.
dull, but
Yeah.
it's really, really important, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very good point that. I mean, I learned that lesson early on. If you
Yeah.
don't understand the numbers, you don't really understand how the business
No,
works.
no, no.
So it's a very important point, a well-made point there. Well, one last thing before we
Yep,
wind up. So,
yep,
if you were to give a piece of advice to a rookie CEO who was just
yeah,
starting out, I
yeah.
mean, what would that most important piece of advice be? What would you be saying to them?
I will shoot myself in the foot a bit here, because I haven't done it still. But that would be to reach out to other CEOs that has done something in your niche and reach out to them, because you will save so much time, so much money, and it doesn't need to be like full week. You can just reach out to them 2, 3 hours, walk you through everything that they did in that space to get you out of it, because you will save so much time, space, and energy.
Yeah, yeah. And let me ask you something. So that's just gone through my mind that is not about your company particularly, but
No?
the entrepreneurial culture in Sweden. I mean, just give us a flavour of what that's like. I mean, I suspect it's different to the UK. I mean,
Yeah.
how is it? How are entrepreneurs perceived in Sweden?
I would say a bit both. It's like if someone says he's an entrepreneur, it could be like, yeah, okay, what kind of business do you have? Because everyone likes to call themselves an
Right.
entrepreneur,
Okay.
especially social media. Everyone is an entrepreneur there. But the real entrepreneurs don't call themselves entrepreneur, I think. So they just run a business and let that speak for them, I think.
Yeah.
All of the ones I have around me and talk to sometimes, they are in different. They have someone is a miner and someone works in a steel plant, and I have one friend in south of Sweden here that does chemicals. So nothing related to what we do, but still, they don't go around and say, "Hey, I'm an entrepreneur." They just build a fucking great business.
Yeah, yeah. And what a great piece of advice to end with it. I mean, just focus on building the business. That's what really
Yeah,
matters, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
think that's a really well made point. Philip,
yeah.
thanks for making a bit of time to come along and talk about what you're doing.
Yes,
I mean,
thank
it's
you,
such
thank
an
you.
interesting area. And I
It
think
is.
the way you're approaching the AI thing is really, really interesting. And
Yeah.
I mean, who knows how things are going to shake down, but it's going to be an interesting couple of years, I think.
Yes, God. Also, I can see if a video on YouTube about AI is 1 week old, you couldn't watch it because it would be obsolete. There will
Yeah,
be nothing
yeah.
in that video that will work today.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy, really, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
anyway, good luck going forward and thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much.
Cheers then. Bye bye.